Well, hello and welcome to Bowtie Life, where we talk mostly about life in the garden. I'm Bowtie David. We live in Destin, Florida, Zone 9B. And today we are going to continue on the May 2024 garden tours. And we're going to look at the progress. And we have a few shocks in the outer garden beds of the backyard, which is what we're doing today. We're going to be looking at the outer beds and starting with this arch trellis we're standing under right now. And we got a couple shocks around here and a little surprises, and we're also going to look a little bit more maintenance of the corn patch and see what we need to do next. So coming up after this video will be more of the May garden tour. We got one more part after this, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Though I've already recorded part of this garden tour. Well, no, we'll get into that in a minute. Be sure to subscribe to Bowtie Life on YouTube if you have not done so already, so you don't miss a thing. Something just crawled underneath our furniture. I don't know what it was. Subscribing does not cost a thing. Just click the subscribe button below, and videos come out here first on YouTube, so you'll always be up to date on what's going on in the garden. For those of you who have already subscribed to Bowtie Life, you are my heroes. You've helped make Bowtie Life what it is today, and I thank you. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. So today is Sunday, May 12th. Happy Mother's Day. A little bit belated, of course, by the time this gets out. But it has been an extremely busy week. We have, here in Destin, we have our Week of Blessing, which involves all the Christians here in Destin. And it is a huge event, probably the biggest citywide event I've ever been involved with in my whole life. It was pretty incredible. And that is, of course, over. This is the next week. Mother's Day started today, and it's just I'm exhausted. It'll probably show a little bit, but I'm involved in a few things and I'm just plain exhausted. But first off, the weather. I mentioned in the first part that we had a single day of decent rain in March, March, and a single day in April. And now we've had 2 days in May, the 1st and the 4th. We had 2 decent rains in May. The first was close to an inch, and the 4th was about the same. So we're having a little bit of a change in our weather, which is nice. We're getting a little bit more rain, but we still have to run irrigation. We do have some rain scheduled this week. In fact, we had some rain this morning, but it was so small, it barely got the top layer wet, so it really didn't offer anything to the garden. Now, I will say, I said May 4th. That's not right. It was May 10th was our recent rain, and we got about 3/4 of an inch of rain. We had 20-mile-an-hour winds. In fact, you can see here the potatoes all got blown over, and we're going to be moving them in the third part. We're going to be doing a little maintenance on the potatoes in the next part, so be sure to follow along and subscribe, of course. But you can follow along and see what we're doing with the potatoes and maybe give you some ideas. It is funny because our temperature has fluctuated between upper 80s to upper 70s for the previous several days before Friday the 10th. And we had a 10-degree Fahrenheit drop. That's over 5 degrees. In fact, it was almost 6 degrees Celsius drop in temperature, which just felt wonderful. So that was wonderful. But yeah, those potatoes, we'll get them recovered just fine. And stay tuned for the next part. And you know, as we're going along here, I try to make these videos not just a garden tour, but also include you in some of the stuff I'm learning and some of the stuff I've done. Sometimes it's just ideas on how to do something, and whether it helps or not. I hope it helps somebody. It may not help you, but I'm hoping it will help somebody. But let's see, we have, so I'll go ahead and insert here. Like I said earlier, I've already recorded a little bit of this garden tour, and I got through the blueberries, these pomegranate trees, the blackberries here, and I got past the blueberries into the cantaloupe, which you're going to see is looking pretty good, but I got buzzed by a bird, and I realized as I was going, in fact, yeah, you'll see here in a little bit, the blueberries are just starting to pop up. I did harvest, I don't know, a little bit of blueberries. Me and Mrs. Bowtie, we enjoyed those blueberries the next morning. But as I was harvesting, I got buzzed by a bird, and it is a brown thrasher. You can see her on the top of the Cathedraloupe. This is the male brown thrasher, and there is a female brown thrasher on a nest in the middle of our blueberries. And it's going to put a little bit of a halt on our blueberry harvest. Fortunately, I can get around the outsides, but I can't get up in the middle. Fortunately, they ripen first around the outside. The middle ripens later. These birds, in fact, you can see there's a picture. I risked personal injury and got this picture inside the nest, and you can see there's a mouth there on the right of a baby thinking I'm trying to feed it. And as I shot this picture, the mama flew in from behind me and hit my hand. I still have a little red spot right there where she hit, and hit my hand and got me out of there. And so she is still sitting on her nest. I know approximately the day that was. I think we're on day 4 or 5 since they have hatched, and according to my research, it's 9 to 13 days before they fledge. So I don't think there's going to be too much of a halt in our blueberry harvest, but we will have to just kind of keep an eye on that. I'll work around that sunny east side of the blueberries, and I can actually get around. I can get the outsides pretty good, and that's normally where they ripen first. So we'll get some blueberries, but we'll have to see what happens. In less than 10 days, they're going to be gone. And so I will, as soon as they're gone, I will make sure that the nest is removed. I did not get up in those blueberries very much at all. I supplemented with compost and mulched with leaves, and I didn't do a lot. Oh, of course I did put the acidifier in there, but I didn't go in there very much outside of just harvesting dandelion flowers. And yeah, so we'll have to see how this goes. Hopefully within 10 days we will be back in there harvesting blueberries. So that's going to be about right. Anyway, I don't think we're going to lose much of any. It'll work out. So anyway, that's about it for the preliminary. Did I already say this? You know, as we're going along, if you have questions or comments, maybe things you've tried, please put in the comments for this video. I love hearing people's experiences and how they did things and what they found. And sometimes it's really interesting. You know, we're here in Destin, Florida. They do something completely different way up in Canada, and or here recently around the Gulf of Bothnia. I don't know if it was Finland or Sweden, but has a real interesting conversation with someone up there. Gardening is different around the world, and sometimes we'll look and say, no, that wouldn't work here, but sometimes we look and say, would that work here? And so we kind of try something new. And so I love looking around the globe for different ideas. I follow Gardening Australia, and that's Self-Sufficient Me in Australia. I follow Plot 37 in England, and the Potty Mouth podcast is great every week, and so many channels out there that are around the world, and the way different people do things, and I learn things and I adapt, and I may change some things that I do based on what I'm learning around the world, and it's just fun. It's just fun. So let's get on with these blackberries. What do you say? So these blackberries, oh yeah, they are growing thick. This is not the bulk of the blackberries. You'll see that in the third part of this month's garden tour, but I wanted to show you just dozens and dozens and dozens of green blackberries getting ready to ripen up. They'll turn red first, and there's even still more blooms coming out, but they'll ripen up first or they'll turn red first, and then they'll ripen up to a black and look beautiful and delicious. So these are actually to the point where I'm sure we are going to have a harvest this year, which is extremely exciting. So I did want to show you down here. This is the first year we've had so many volunteer tomatoes. This one is just in this random pot sitting over here underneath the bird feeder. I'd imagine a squirrel probably dropped a tomato plant, a tomato over here somewhere. Maybe a bird pooped it out. I don't know. But I just thought that was funny. The pomegranate trees, oh, they are beautiful. We actually have pomegranates growing up in there. And that's the best part, which means the flowers are taking. I don't think in fact, I know all the flowers won't take. There's look at all the red flowers on the ground. There's a lot of them. And this happened last year, but we lost most of them. We didn't have a very big harvest. In fact, I didn't even harvest the pomegranates last year. I just let them go because of the freeze of Christmas 2022. Not last Christmas, the Christmas before. Last year's harvest was terrible, but this tree, in fact, the theme this month has been, oh my goodness, everything is bouncing back stronger than ever. And you can just see flowers upon flowers upon flowers in there that are just looking beautiful. So hoping for a good turnout on those. You can look down here. This is actually, well, there's an ivy growing right there that needs to come out. That is a goji berry bush, but because of all the shade, it doesn't really produce much. It probably needs to be moved. Gonna have to look into that. There's a blackberry growing right across the bottom there with blackberries on it. This is a super shaded area. I don't know. It's amazing. These blackberries, just mind-blowing. More blackberries down in this little pot here. We'll be getting rid of this pot eventually and putting these blackberries in the ground. Still kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with this area along the trellis here, where I want to grow these blackberries. So coming around, of course, we have our fountain. Still nothing done with that. It's coming. I promise it's coming. Oh, Lordy day. Life just gets busy. And we come around to the back of the blueberries, and I wanted to show you this. I talked about in the I think I talked about in the beginning of the first part how we're beginning to see some small blueberries, and looky here, these are actually turning blue. I'm going to try one of these. Now these are way small. These are itty bitty shrivelly things, and I don't think it's going to be worth eating. Ooh. Oh, well, yeah, that wasn't worth eating, but I do want to come up here. Now this one is not quite ripe. It could go stay on here another day, but this represents my very first blueberry picked for the year. Ready? Oh, they're so good. So we do have birds in here. I see another one right there. Okay, it is time to start picking blueberries. I'm seeing occasional ones in here right now. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to eat this one. Sorry, Mrs. Bowtie. This is not gonna be saved for you. Another beautifully ripe. Oh my goodness. This is the privilege. I do see blueberry. I need to get out here and pick this morning. So yeah, this is, in fact, you can see right here, two beautiful blueberries right there. Wow, I'm excited about that. That is great news. So what is today? This is May 9th. We are starting to pick May 9th. Yeah, this video is kind of recorded weird, so bear with the schedule this month. The bee box, yeah, we are pretty certain we don't have a queen anymore. And Jeff has been working hard, getting swarms collected, and he has been busy. So hopefully we'll get a new swarm in here soon. That would be beneficial. Okay, so I wanted to show you this next structure right here. Of course, this is the Cathedraloupe. It is a cathedral-shaped arbor. It's got a walkway like a transept there and a nave here, like the old churches in Europe and like the old cathedrals. And it's even facing directly east, which is behind the camera. That way you're looking directly west right now. But we are growing cantaloupe on this. And now, folks, cantaloupe, and talk about success here. You're going to see there's actually things growing here. There are successes. However, about half of these holes were not successes. Half of these holes I had to reseed, like that one right there. You can tell it's real small. I had to reseed that. This one might have been the first reseeding. This is the third reseed, the second reseeding, so the third attempt to plant something. Yeah, I've been working real hard trying to get all these to grow. That was the third attempt right there, and I got to get these magnolia leaves off of there because that is not good for them. But look over here. On this backside, there's one there, and there's one over there that still has not grown. I'm going to plant them again. This will be the fourth time seeding these holes. But some of these, I mean, you can look here. Some of these are actually taking and looking strong. They're looking good. And I am very, very pleased with how they're looking. So we're back here behind the fig trees. And there's the Cathedraloupe. We're against the white fence is behind the camera. And these fig trees, I am really hoping that we get a good harvest this year. There are figs developing down in here, and they are looking good. They're still a couple months away from being ready, but both of these trees, this tree here is I don't know, maybe almost 8 feet high up there, and it's coming out this way, which is the direction I wanted it to come. I didn't want it to grow into the Cathedraloupe, but I did want to kind of keep it out this direction. The other fig tree here, which I'm pretty sure this was the first one we planted. You'll notice down here the main leader branch is looking strong. Hey, lizard. He's right there. He's like, hello. Anyways, I did trim some lower branches down here, but 1, 2, 3, 4 branches here going in each direction. This is like the perfect goblet, folks. This is beautiful. This is my most beautiful tree right here. And so this thing has got some major figs growing up on it as well. You can see in there, there's figs all up in there. And so this is probably about 6 inches shorter than the other fig tree. Yeah, about 6 inches shorter, but it's looking really strong. And while we're standing here, just right here underneath this fig tree, right near the fence line, we have a Comfrey, which is just looking gorgeous. Now, I am looking for a purple flower stem to come up out of this. I don't know when it happens. I don't know if we'll get it to happen, but I am looking for something to come up out of there. I don't know what this is. I have got to identify this. I'm trying to learn something new every once in a while as far as what I got growing. I think it's a neat plant. Almost looks carroty, but it's not a carrot. I don't know what it is. But anyway, this Comfrey, oh, no, that looks like a new leaf growing up down there. I'm going to just be keeping an eye on this thing for a purple flower sprout. I've never had my Comfrey flower, and someone told me it's probably because they were hidden from the sun. So we got a Comfrey there. Over here past the elephant ears, we've got another Comfrey closer to there's the bee box again, and there's another Comfrey down here. And then there, oh. I thought I dreamed this. Apparently I didn't. This is the other Comfrey, and it has a flower stalk. Oh my goodness. I thought it was, I had dreamed it somewhere. Kind of white and purple flowers, little clusters of them. And it grows this stem up here, which is almost 2 feet tall, right here next to the bee bath. Oh my goodness, that is so cool. The bee bath is empty right now. Not sure why. It's an old bee bath. I need to clean that real good. But there it is. I finally got Comfrey to flower. It's not full sun, but it's got a bit of sun. That's really good news. A lot of Biden's Alba. It's all these little white and yellow flowers around here. The bees really seem to like these quite a bit. Let me get back over to the other side of the fig trees here, and you can see I'm really enjoying keeping this as a kind of a little meadow type area. Lots of life in here, lots and lots of animal life, just lizards and insects and all kinds of things. I don't know what this is another thing I'm going to have to learn. I'm not sure what that is. These beautiful little yellow flowers. There's little white flowers down there on and I know what that is. Little tiny white flowers, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Whew, I am tired. Okay, so we got our row of Loquat trees down here, and this thing is really growing out. You'll notice the branches are growing out correctly, the way I want them to. We did tie some strings, and you can see that one right there. Those branches are kind of growing out where I had the strings. I need to do it again to get these branches to come out a little bit more, but we're trying to make a hedge here, kind of fill in this whole area as a hedge behind or up here by the fence. And just got 5 trees. They're looking good. Of course, no fruit this year. I'm not expecting any until probably another 2 years, but they're in the ground. They're getting regular water, which is what we needed. So you can see here, we did this string last time and it's growing right. What I want to do now is come out about here and pull this down a little bit further out. And we're going to do the same with that one. That one's actually doing really good, though I do see there's a couple of branches up top there that need to be pulled out just a little bit. And they will look good. Our lemon tree here is taken over by some Biden's Alba, which is just fine. We do like the flowers. I've said that several times in this garden tour. In fact, you can see down here, there is a lot of Biden's Alba just all through the area where the onions are. In fact, I pulled out a bunch of them and made a pile. In fact, there's a pile right there in the grass of what I pulled out, and they have just grown back just as strong. So there are Egyptian walking onions under there that I'm sure may not be too extremely happy about that. This is going to be a trouble area, I believe, and I don't mind if it gets there. Oh, see, here's a bee. Here's probably one of my bees. Now there he flew away. I don't think we have a queen in our bee box. I think I said that already. So I did help Jeff Chesser with another bee situation. Maybe soon he'll have enough that we can get one. All right, so the watermelon patch. Look at these plants go, and we're gonna have to start training these. Just taking and putting them over there. Back when we had that windstorm last Friday on the 10th, everything got blown over the other way, so I had to come out and train these watermelon back the other way to get them to the direction. Like, see, I don't want it this close to the path right here, which is marked by the bricks. So I will take this, and right now, while we can still do it, I'll just take and direct it that way, and hopefully it'll get the message and grow the correct way. But this whole area is going to be covered with watermelon plants. Mark this day, Mother's Day, May 12th, 2024. These things are going to take off. These things really took off last year. So yeah, underneath these Biden's Alba, I said the lemon tree under here. There's actually 2 lemon trees, one here and one over there. This one's not getting water, is it? I may not be getting water in that one. I think I might have to address that. Yeah, reminder to myself. Another Comfrey that is not flowering. So full sun may not be the best result unless it just hadn't got there yet. Comfrey is a wonderful weed for compost. You'll notice those big, broad, fat leaves. These things actually develop very deep roots, pull up nutrients from deep underground, and store them in their leaves, and that's how we get nutrients back in our compost. Not quite as good as seaweed, but We got that coming. Got a video on that coming out here pretty soon. We got some seaweed. This mint plant is really suffering. I'm wondering if maybe these emitters are not working. In fact, that looks like it's clogged up. I wonder if, yeah. Oh my goodness, that feels very dry. We need to address that, don't we? All right. So moving on to another fig tree. This is a brown turkey fig, and it looks like we're coming up with a few leaders. Now, if you might remember, I broke off a leaf right there. Can I get in there? Broke off a leaf right there to allow this branch to start developing, and it's starting to develop. So I'm very happy about that. I don't know what that was. Anyway, so this will start growing and thickening up the trunk. We'll keep it kind of as a low lollipop shape, but I do probably need to get this big weed off the base of it. We are getting a lot of this ivy across the back fence all the way up here to the, the mountain, or not the mountain. This is the chocolate, this may be peppermint. I'm not sure. I think it may be peppermint though. Anyway, it's some kind of mint that's growing in a bag underneath there. It's really spreading out. Not sure where this came from. This is a watermelon. Probably came up from last year. And I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna try to keep it in the proper direction. It's being held down by grass. All right, grass, let go. You can have it over here. This watermelon really seemed to grow just fine going through the grass, so I'm not going to worry about that. I do want to show you. Okay, remember what this arch trellis is back here in the middle of the backyard? This is Luffa. And so I've been coming out here every few days watching this thing, and they were just barely high as the lower rail down there. And then one day, I have to move the camera. Then one day, this happened. Look at this. It's all the way up here now. It's 4 feet tall. And this thing jumped up about 3 feet overnight practically. And that one over there is getting ready to get higher. This one here is 3 feet, and that one over there is probably 2.5 feet. So the loofah are taking off. I am very excited. Is that the possibility of flowers already? Oh my goodness, it is. It's flowers. I can't tell if it's a male or female flower, but yes, we have flowers about to start popping out on that. But this thing, I suspect, is going to cover this arch trellis. Let me back up here so you can kind of get an idea of what it all looks like. And it's going to probably cover this whole arch trellis and maybe then some. And we will have fun with that. But loofah, you know, what you use in your shower. Everybody I've talked to thought loofah was a sea life, but no, it's a gourd. So the jasmine looks like it's starting to fade its flowers a little bit. Interestingly enough, my neighbor's jasmine back over there is looking just a little better than mine. You can still smell it back here. It still has strong aroma of jasmine. Very, very nice. Then past the kinetic art, of course, the wood pile. It's been here a long time. And then we get over here to the corn patch, and let's talk about this. So you'll notice, thanks to the wind from 2 days ago, a lot of these are kind of leaning that way. In fact, if I get up in here and kind of look at a better angle, you can see these things are at an angle. So we need to hill these up, get them straight, so that these things will grow better and hopefully have a full life and develop. So let me put the camera on a tripod and see what we can do. Well, so my process here is pretty simple. I go through here and, well, had to do some weeding. I have been weeding pretty good around here, keeping up with it a little bit. That hadn't been a lot. Remember, there's cardboard under here about 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, and then about 8 inches of this horse muck compost. Anyway, so I'm going along here, and I am just kind of straightening them up and mounding up the horse muck compost that I have been using. And I know Haas over at Haas Tools just had a thing at the morning I'm recording this particular voiceover, said, don't go traipsing through and straighten them up. Well, they were really bad. I don't think they would have straightened up on their own. They may have, but they were young, and I'm about a month behind planting these. So anyway, let's take a look at the final product. And there we go, 4 perfectly hilled up rows of corn, ready to grow some more. Very excited to see that. And then we head over here to the pomegranate trees. Still have not taken out that one dead one back there, but I really need to because I don't want it to interfere with the growth of the corn, and it's got ivies growing up it now. And of course the next pomegranate, it looks like it's going to be producing some this year. Lots of flowers. Some of the flowers just drop off, but it still produces. Now these are the pomegranates that I have never trimmed the base to, and trimmed off the suckers. So I'm kind of experimenting with those other 4 to see what produces more. It's not a very fair experiment because these get a lot more sun than the other one. Well, not a lot more. They get about the same amount of sun when it boils down to it. Underneath the pomegranate trees, we have a big poke weed. I want to take you around to see this before I pull it up because I've been wanting to wait for this pokeweed. This is pokeweed, and this is actually what that thing looks like out by the that thing is huge. Look at the size of this stem, but it's not very much of a root. That's interesting. Pokeweed. So I'm wondering if you saw the front and side garden tour next to the angel trumpet, this is what I suspect is growing next to it. So this is a huge, in total it's probably a little over 6 feet tall. So I've been meaning to pull that up. Lots of production for the compost bin. I'm going to go throw it in there. We do have a couple of elephant ears up in this side over here that I'm going to let grow just out of curiosity over by the mirrors. There's another one in there between those 2 mirrors. Lemon tree, just letting these lemon trees grow and go. Now, interestingly enough, I've never seen these comfrey, and this is comfrey underneath the pomegranate tree. I've never seen these comfrey bloom, but look at this. This thing is about to bloom. I transplanted the other side. There's actually comfrey on both sides of this pomegranate tree. I transplanted all the other stuff, and this stuff got scared and is starting to bloom. Lots of ivy. I'm going to be going on a ivy war this year, or this month. War against all the ivy up in here because we're getting a lot of it. Rosemary. This rosemary is looking gorgeous, but I think it's getting a little stressed by all the ivy crawling up inside it. So yeah, rosemary. Oh, smells so good. Smells good like rosemary. The pot, a lot of these are growing up into random stuff. There is still an aloe under here that I'm letting just hide out underneath all this overgrowth. And I come pull it out occasionally. Not a lot. There is a lemon tree under here still. You can see the stems here, and I don't see thorns on that. I wonder if that is. Oh, yeah, there's the thorns. Okay. So that's lemon tree growing up from in the ground. It does have a ring around it, but that's just to hold in the dirt. Had a big beetle on my shoulder. Okay, so the grass. This is the Dietes tricolor that we talked about in a little short not long ago. Love this stuff. Got to transplant some of it out, like I did with the comfrey. Spearmint over here, looking just wonderful. Beyond that, we have chocolate mint, which is also looking wonderful and growing all over the place. Need to keep this thing in control and round it up a little bit. It's got some seaweed dropped in there somehow. And of course the Loquat trees over here, still growing in solo cups, just waiting for their turn. Looking pretty good. I'm just amazed at how these things just adjust to whatever they're in. Another aloe here. We haven't, had our aloe bloom in a while, so be nice to have that happen again. Anyway, and that brings us down to, well, you have probably seen it by now, the compost, and it is looking strong. This bin is almost empty. That bin has seaweed in it. I do plan sometime later this summer to flip this middle bin into there, but I'll be putting grass cuttings in there as I go. I'll be adding more seaweed to it. There is a little bit more left around here, like right in there. It's only about, I don't know, 4 inches deep. But there's little bits and pieces I'll rake up and get together. And in fact, you can see some of the compost from not last year's compost, but year before that we used in the 2023 garden. This stuff, look at that. That is just beautiful. Oh, there's a worm right there. Yeah, we got lots of worms. Beautiful silky stuff that I have not finished using because it's on this it's a little half a tarp. And just a pile over here. This is a pile of this year's compost, the compost I used for this year. So that is the outer garden bed tours. The green ones are our native lizards. I like all the lizards, but these green ones are supposed to be the ones that are native. He's just sitting there watching for bugs to crawl out on the top of the wood pile here. And so there we go. That is the month of May in the outer garden beds of the backyard. And I guess the most exciting thing I am excited about is the compost pile is done. This is May 14th. I actually finished it yesterday, May 13th. I know this is coming out a week from now because it takes me a while to edit these, but yeah, that compost is massive. It's been 24 hours and it's already sunk about 4 or 5 inches, which I expect that to sink down probably about half of what it is now, but it'll never get that low because I'll continue adding to the top of it. Looking back at the corn, I'm very excited to have that hilled up. That looks beautiful. It's what I dreamed of, and we'll see what we can get out of that. I've never had a corn patch per se, so this will be a new experience for me. The melons, cantaloupe and watermelons and loufas, the loufas, oh my goodness, those things, it's been amazing. I know I showed you the little blackberry arbor over here. You got to stick around for the raised garden bed tours to see the big vines. I mean, 20-foot long vines. It's blowing my mind. I'm sitting here looking just off camera, literally hundreds and hundreds of green blackberries. And there's a few that are starting to ripen. It's just very exciting to see. So stick around for the raised garden bed tour. We are starting to get some mosquitoes out here. It is May, and we've had a lot of water, so I got to empty. In fact, it takes 3 days for mosquitoes to go from eggs and larvae to actual mosquitoes, so dumping that now so we don't get a problem. I got another one I got to dump up front, but we don't like standing water around, and that's what they're looking for, is standing water to lay some eggs in. Anyway, so thank you for following along today. For those of you who have subscribed, like I said in the beginning, to Bowtie Life on YouTube, subscribing is free. You are my heroes. You have helped make Bowtie Life what it is today. We're working hard to grow our channel to the next level, and once we reach that point, we'll be able to do so much more. I'm very excited about that. For those of you just finding Bowtie Life on YouTube for the first time, this is my own personal journal of everything going on in the garden. With my ADD brain, I've tried journaling, I've tried photography, I've tried the little app in the phone, and nothing really speaks to my unique brain like these videos. And I say this a lot. Frequently, I will just leave my videos playing on the TV in the background while I'm getting ready in the morning or doing other stuff, and it'll remind me to do something, and I'll stop what I'm doing, I'll go do something, and I'll go back in and pick up where I left off. So these really are for me, and you are just so invited to join along. So be sure it's free to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. There's no charge for that, and feel free to do that because it helps grow the channel. It also helps you not miss a thing that's happening in the garden. If you go into your YouTube app or on YouTube on the phone, or I'm sorry, on your Roku or on your TV, smart TV, or on your computer, there's an area for subscriptions. All the videos put out by your subscriptions shows up there. So anyway, makes it nice one place for the stuff you're most interested in. Again, subscribing does not cost a thing. Another way you can help grow the channel is click thumbs up on this video and share it on your social media, your Facebook and so forth, with your friends who might be looking for inspiration to grow their own food. And I got a lot of inspiration from YouTube when I was started growing my own food, and look where we're at now. It's been prolific, obviously. So comment below if you have any questions or comments. Love to hear from you. Always love hearing your experiences and what's happening in your garden. Tell me what zone you're in or what part of the world you're in. We've had people from literally all over the world commenting on these videos, and I just think that is fascinating. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a blessed day.